play something else.
Hello and welcome to Brand X Reviews, and welcome back to our Steve McQueen retrospective series. In this one I'm going to be looking at The Great Escape, which was made in 1963. Now this film I would pretty much regard as an unofficial sequel to The Magnificent Seven. I don't know how the director of the film would describe it, whether he would use the same principle there, but that's how I regard it anyway. And I'll just clarify what I mean by that, because it doesn't mean that it's an official sequel, it doesn't mean that there's any continuity between this and The Magnificent Seven, and I'll probably get grief off trolls on YouTube saying, Great Escape is not a sequel to The Magnificent Seven, and your mother's a whore. That's the kind of thing that I'll probably get just off people that are on there, because it's standard practice on YouTube. So I'll just explain, I'll just clarify what I mean by unofficial sequel. Magnificent Seven has the same director, it's got a lot of the same actors, the score to the film is done by the same person, there's a lot of the same themes going on in the film as well, and a lot of the things that I would use to describe The Great Escape I kind of talked about in my Magnificent Seven review. So there's definitely a big connection there between these two films. Now, there are other examples in Hollywood, say Apocalypto is kind of an unofficial sequel to The Passion of the Christ. The film, fairly forgettable film, Soldier, with Kurt Russell, was an unofficial sequel to Stargate, weirdly enough. I understand that's what the writer of the two films, the same writer, regards it as. And also Elysium is regarded by some of the makers of the film to be an unofficial sequel to District 9. So that's pretty much the tie, I would say, between Great Escape and The Magnificent Seven. There's a 3-year gap. I think The Magnificent Seven came out in 1960, The Great Escape came out in 1963.
I haven't seen Berlin yet, from the ground or from the air, and I plan on doing both before the war is over.
Are all American officers so ill-mannered?
About 99%.
Then perhaps while you are with us, you will have a chance to learn some. 10 days isolation hills.
Captain Hill.
20 days.
Right. Oh, you'll still be here when I get out.
Cooler.
So I think by this point Steve McQueen was really established in Hollywood as a main star. An example I would give to that as well is the fact that, again like The Magnificent Seven, in The Great Escape Steve McQueen doesn't have a lot of screen time. Don't get me wrong, he's a major character in there, and he's a very important character in there in terms of how the plot develops. But he spends most of his time in what's known as the cooler, which is like solitary confinement in prison in the film, so he's kind of missing for large chunks of this. And I do know that Steve McQueen also kind of fell out with the director in a lot of occasions, where he just like not talk to him for days. I think that's part of the reason why he wasn't in a lot of this film. But I know he had to argue for a lot of his parts. But my point being anyway, that even though he wasn't given a lot of screen time, he's regarded as the main star of the film. I mean, all you have to do is look at the cover of the DVD. I mean, I know this is a modern thing, but we can also go back to the original poster of the film. He was first billed on the poster, and it has McQueen shown as the primary sort of character. He's the front of the line on the original poster. So you kind of see what a great actor he really was in a lot of ways. He wasn't a traditional actor, as you would, like I say, in my other reviews I've kind of compared him to, say, Robert De Niro or Al Pacino maybe. That's kind of more traditional style of acting, whereas McQueen just kind of played it cool and just did little things just to kind of impress you, really, just to leave an impression without having a lot of lines, without having a lot to do. He would just do little things that were memorable.
Man, you kick me, I'm getting back up.
No matter what you do to me, I'm coming back. And he'll take his lumps, you can kick his ass, but he's coming back. Harder. And that's the joy of seeing his movies.
Hey, help!
Like the baseball in The Great Escape. At the end of that movie, he's kicking off that baseball, and you can hear it rackety-tackety, and you knew he was going to escape someday. He's going to get out. And that's what McQueen personifies.
That's really kind of what you got to see a film for in a lot of ways. Depends what you expect out of an actor, really. But I think, like I say, it's things like that that really left Steve McQueen with quite a legacy. And he's been imitated many times by other actors, but never duplicated. So this is one of those films, you know, like again with The Magnificent Seven, it's another one that is highly regarded as one of McQueen's best films, one of his best roles, and I would again probably agree with that. He's definitely an iconic one anyway. Now, from a collector's point of view anyway, this there's a few things that I've owned over the years. The soundtrack to the film, the score, was done by Elmer Bernstein, who, like I said, did the Magnificent Seven score. And this is the deluxe edition. It's got 16 tracks to it, some of which are dialogue. But the cover of the film, the cover of the sleeve anyway of the CD is pretty good. You get one of these posters. I don't really like it when CDs do this, when they give you like a poster, because it means kind of having to butcher the actual CD, which means you have to kind of have it like that if you want to use the inside sleeve as the poster. But it's got a lot of notes as well and stuff like that, and pictures. So it's quite a nice thing from a collector's point of view. But something else that I picked up about 10 years ago or so, for some reason I can't get this back in. You also get a puzzle with this CD as well. You take the sleeve out and you get a little puzzle that you've got to kind of put the thing back together. And if you're like me, if you're kind of like a monkey, kind of caggy-handed, you can't get the thing back in. But there we go. I've solved it anyway. I've solved it. And that's that. But yeah, something else that I bought a few years ago anyway was this figure of the Steve McQueen character. The character's name is Hilt in the film. It's a bit of a weird character name, but I think this is quite a rare one. I got it from America, and it was one of the first things I got off eBay, I think, when I joined it. And I think I might have paid about £15 for it or something. But it's quite good detail as well. It's got like a leather jacket and a baseball glove, which you can kind of switch. It's got like a normal hand that you can swap it with, and it's got baseball as well, which isn't fixed to his hand, but I've kind of put it in there. It kind of fits in there. If you've seen my other reviews, you might even have noticed this sat on my shelf in the background. So it's a pretty cool thing to have. It's quite a treasured possession to me anyway. So if you look for this, you can probably find it. I think it originally came with a motorbike and a machine gun as well, but when I bought it, it didn't come with those, so it's quite a nice thing to have anyway. One thing I will say as well that kind of I can emphasise with the figure, in this film, right, okay, it's got a lot of these prisoners of war that are in this Nazi prison camp. Most of them are British, and they're pretty much all wearing what they were wearing when they were shot down, because these, you know, fighter pilots. What the hell was Steve McQueen wearing when he was flying a plane, when he was shot down? It does kind of make you wonder. But I don't think that's the first time that question has been raised. But if there's any theories on that, please, you know, leave comments on the YouTube page. And don't forget to say that my mother's a whore as well, because you're not a proper YouTuber until you do that. So like I say, if you want to go to leave comments, you can go to the YouTube page, but there is also brandxreviews.com. There is a comments page on there, and you can also see the other video reviews that I've done. As I said, this is the 5th in the series, the Steve McQueen retrospective series that I've done. There'll be plenty more to come shortly, and there's plenty of other reviews of other films and books and music, that kind of thing, on the website right now. So if you want to check that, the website address again is brandxreviews.com. Nothing really much to add to this. I think I've pretty much summed it up. I don't know what the next McQueen film I will review will be, but it shouldn't be too long before it's up there. Thank you very much for watching.
taken out?
250. 250?